Hi, welcome to the Binge on Self-Love podcast. I'm your host Anna, but you can call me Anci, and thank you all so much for joining me today. Today, we're discussing everything about the pressure to lose weight and to transform your body to look perfect on your wedding day. According to 2019 survey by Treadmill Reviews, which you will find linked in the show notes, over 62% of women decides to lose weight for their wedding day. The main reasons being to feel good about themselves, to look good in a wedding dress or suit, and to look attractive for their partner. I've recently got married, which I'm not saying to brag, but maybe just a little bit. No, but because I've had my fair share of self-doubts whether or not I'm gonna look good and feel good enough on my wedding day. So let's talk about it. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hi there, my name is Anna, but you can call me Anci, and I'm a host of the Binge on Self-Love podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome and thank you so much for being here. And if you've tuned in before, it's great to have you back. Binge on Self-Love podcast started with me in my bedroom, recording and sharing my journey with binge eating disorder and with procrastination. But we are so much more than our eating disorder, and we are so much more than our problems. So this podcast is essentially about accepting yourself and everything that comes with it. Growth, pain, relationships, boundaries, habits, comparison, body image, confidence, you name it. Plus, you'll catch me having some insightful conversations with fantastic guests who open up and share their stories. So make sure to subscribe to the Binge on Self-Love on your favorite platform and join me every Tuesday for a brand new episode. Binge on Self-Love podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It doesn't provide professional medical advice, and it is not a substitute for diagnosis or treatment. If you Google how to lose weight for a wedding, you will get literally millions and millions of results on how to lose weight fast to fit into your dream wedding dress, the do's and don'ts of wedding weight loss, and how to get fit for your big day and how to look perfect in your wedding dress. You probably get the idea. There's a ton of advice on how to lose weight for your wedding day. And my question is, do we really need to lose weight in order to get married? My answer is no, we don't. I think, and I hope that a lot of you will agree with me, that the wedding and the entire wedding day and the entire wedding experience is about something else, something so much bigger and so much more important than our weight. But somehow it became so normalized in our society that mostly brides, but also grooms, want to get fit for their wedding day. I got married back in September 2023, and I've spent pretty much the entire year of 2023 planning and preparing for the wedding. I knew in the back of my mind that regarding my long history with negative body image, there was a slight chance, a slight risk that somewhere along the way in the planning of our wedding, I may start to feel the urge to more or less transform my body for such a big day. I also knew that there's an entire section on the internet that's dedicated to advice on how to look perfect on your wedding day, and that there are tons and tons of videos and training programs targeted specifically at brides. I knew all of that, and I must say that I am pretty proud that I've managed not to go crazy and jump on a diet or some insane workout regime for a really, really long time throughout the whole process. But somewhere around 2.5 months into the wedding, I got a little caught up in the pressure to look my best for the wedding day. My mind was like, In my mind, I was having these thoughts like, you only have 2 months left, you don't look as good as you thought you would, your arms are not toned enough, or you still don't have visible abs, or you have so much cellulite on your thighs, and your nails look disgusting, etc. I'm ashamed to say that, but the pressure really got the best of me. I started spiraling in my mind, and I started to feel an urge to change literally everything about myself, and I'm honestly ashamed to say that, but the pressure really got the best of me. I even searched for a clinic thinking I should get these different procedures done to my face because I wanted to look so good, so bad. For example, for most of my life, I have these really droopy eyelids, and I've had them forever. And I also have really uneven eyebrows, meaning that one of my eyebrow is kind of higher than the other. And also I hate my teeth because they are not as white as I would like them to be. So a few months before the wedding, as I was looking at all of this inspiration and all these beautiful people and their wedding photos, I started nitpicking every single part of my body. Suddenly, my arms looked too fat, my hips were too wide, my face was ugly and uneven and wrinkly, my teeth were ugly and my hair looked ugly, and everything about my body suddenly seemed like it's not good enough. Sometime in July, I think, I started to work out a little more. I started to restrict myself in the way that I was eating a little more, and I started to put more and more pressure on myself to look a certain way for my wedding day. Like I've said, I think that I've done pretty well regarding ignoring the entire pressure to lose weight and transform my body, etc. But a few months before the wedding, somehow the pressure really got me. Sometime in July, I think, I started to become a little more obsessive when it comes to my workouts and my diet. I started exercise more. I started checking calories, which if you've listened to any of the episodes before, I've talked about my negative experience tracking calories and how it always leads me to restricting myself and then binge eating again. So I've started tracking calories for whatever reason. I've tried to cut off certain foods because I thought that it will help me to kind of lose weight and transform my body. I was working out 4 to 5 times a week. It almost felt like I've taken everything I have ever learned about myself and about my recovery from an eating disorder, and I threw it out of the window. There were 2 breaking points for me when I really felt so much negativity against myself and my body. One of them was a photo from the wedding dress fitting from early January 2023. There is this particular photo of me in the wedding dress, and I remember thinking, oh my god, my arms look huge. It's the biggest arm I've ever seen. I cannot look like that on my wedding day, and I'm not making this up. This is really what was going on in my mind. These were such toxic thoughts that I was having in my mind, and unfortunately, I let that thought or those thoughts get the best of me. And I started to focus on what my arms looked like more and more, not just in that photo, but in every dress or every outfit I wore. I got obsessed with working out on my upper body, and I was checking myself in the mirror so often, and I didn't even care whether I was doing the exercise right. All I cared about was if it's going to be effective. Which, by the way, I think is the worst approach you can have towards exercise, to exercise to look good instead of focusing on doing the exercise right. Anyway, that picture of myself in that wedding dress haunted me, literally haunted me for months. So I focused on transforming my upper body because I couldn't cope with the idea that I was gonna look quote unquote this bad on my wedding day. As the wedding day got closer and closer, I started noticing familiar thought patterns running through my head, such as, is it okay to have 2 slices of cheese? Isn't it too much? Should I have just 1? Or the other extreme, like, I didn't go to the gym today, so I feel really sluggish, I'm lazy, and I'm a piece of shit. I'm gonna look terrible in my wedding dress anyway, so what's the point of trying? Let's buy all this food I'm craving and just eat it. As I've mentioned earlier, 2 or 3 months before the wedding, I started restricting myself a bit more. I started having these feelings of guilt when I've had something like chocolate or ice cream or soda, or we went out for a dinner. Simultaneously, I also started having these urges to binge, which I should have known would happen once I started restricting myself. But for whatever reason, I've decided to ignore that. And about a month or so before the wedding, I had a couple of binge eating episodes. I got really upset with myself and I started thinking that this is going to ruin everything for me. I'm gonna look like shit and feel like shit. You know, it's not really my proudest moment for sure, but I want to be honest. I want to tell you how it was for me. I know better than this. I have tools how to cope with those feelings, but for some reason, I chose not to. Instead, I was pushing myself further and further, failing at it, binge eating, hating myself, trying to push myself further, failing again, and so on and so forth. Now I'm getting to my second breaking point, which was about 2 weeks before our wedding, when I went to my final wedding dress fitting. I've tried the dress on, and the dress was really, really tight on my upper half of my body. I went to the wedding dress fitting, I've tried the dress on, and surprisingly, the dress was really, really tight on my upper half of my body. I mean, I could breathe in the dress, but I felt really uncomfortable. And of course, the first thing that jumped into my mind was, see, you've gained weight. You failed again. You are such a loser, Anna. I started freaking out. I couldn't imagine spending the entire day in the dress. I felt so ashamed that I didn't say anything to the lady who was altering the dress. I felt so embarrassed. I didn't want the seamstress to say something like, oh, but you shouldn't have gained weight, or something like that. She probably wouldn't say that. She would probably alter the dress, but I was so mortified by even the idea of having to explain that to her. So I was just standing there, hating myself, thinking all of these negative thoughts towards myself and towards my body. All I said to the lady was that, okay, it's fine, it fits great. On my way home, I calmed down a little bit and I came up with 2 more reasonable explanations. One being that I was on my period, so hello, my boobs usually get bigger and my body usually retains more water. And the second reason being that the dress was borrowed from a bridal salon. So someone had borrowed the dress before me and it was tailored to fit someone else's body, of course. But my natural reaction was to blame myself first. If you're wondering how the dress fit on the wedding day, it fit really perfectly. I felt great in the dress and the entire wedding day was fantastic and so full of love. And I'm really grateful that throughout the entire wedding day, I didn't have any of these negative thoughts about myself in those dresses or my body. None of that fortunately crossed my mind, and I was fortunate enough to enjoy the entire day with my husband and with our families and our friends, and I'm so grateful for that. Fast forward, the wedding was amazing, but what wasn't so amazing was the aftermath of restricting myself and binge eating and exercising to look a certain way. Couple of days after the wedding, I was really overeating. I would not say I was binge eating, but I was overeating. And I was overeating our entire honeymoon. And once we got back from the honeymoon, I started binge eating again like crazy. And it lasted for weeks. It's really crazy how restricting myself can mess up with my body and with my routine and with my healthy habits that I've been building up for so long. And what's really sad is that until this very day, which is mid-December when I'm recording this episode, I haven't yet found that balance again that I used to have before. It took me years and years to get to that happy place that I was before the wedding, and I threw it all out of the window to fill my idea of what perfect bride is supposed to look like. The consequences that we don't often talk about is that I started feeling resentful towards exercise again. Fortunately, I'm good now. I found my balance in exercise again, but for a couple of weeks after my wedding, I didn't work out at all, and I resented it. I hated the idea of going to the gym again. On the other hand, finding balance with food is taking me a lot more effort. It's way more difficult for me than I thought it would be. It's really sad that we think and we believe that we must do all of these crazy things, and we feel like we have to put our bodies through hell and back to look our best. I mean, everyone wants to feel good in their skin, not just on the wedding day, but in general, and I think that's kind of natural. I also want it to look perfect, but looking back at it now, trying to change my body and restricting what I ate for just like one day, no matter how special that day wasn't really worth it. It only messed my mind and my body image. I can assure you that my wedding day was about everything but my weight or my cellulite or my stomach rolls. Nobody cares about that. I didn't care about it. I was so busy with so many more important things. Your partner wants to marry you because they love you, not because of how much or how little you will wait on your wedding day. I just think there are healthier ways how to get to a place of feeling good in your skin. After all, losing weight for your wedding day or getting lean for your wedding day is a pretty short-sighted goal. On the contrary, goals like taking care of your health, moving your body regularly, or healing your relationship with food are goals that can last for a lifetime and that can have a positive impact for a lifetime. I can consider myself lucky that the only person I have felt the pressure to lose weight and to transform my body was me and myself only. But still, all these years, I have apparently been soaking up information about how a bride should lose weight before her big day, or how she should do all these things to look her best. After all, that's what media says. That's what influencers share. That's what movies show us. I think anyone who's getting married and who has watched Bride Wars movie will think of the scene where Kate Hudson, aka Liv, couldn't fit into her wedding dress and says, "You don't alter Vera to fit you, you alter yourself to fit Vera." And then goes to the kitchen and grabs a celery stick or a carrot or something. That's what I mean when I say that it's expected from people who are getting married to change their bodies. In the hindsight, I think the whole wedding business is about selling you the idea that you only have one chance, you'll only experience it once, which of course it's true, hopefully, but it also means that we want everything, every single thing of the process, including us, to be perfect. The idea of us not looking or feeling our best is too dreadful to ignore, so we go out and buy a program promising us to lose those few extra pounds, and we hop on a new diet trend promising us to lose weight fast. Well, you may be thinking like, well, that's great that you're saying this, Anna, but you did the same thing. You also tried to transform your body for your wedding day. And yeah, and I'm telling you this and sharing this because it's not worth it. I messed up my eating habits. I messed up my body image. I messed up my mindset that I was working towards for a long time. And I think you didn't have to change anything about yourself. I want to remind any of you out there who are either getting married soon or who have any big event coming up and you feel the pressure to change your body in order to look good on that big day, then please don't. You already are just enough. You don't need to change your body in any way. All those doubts and negative thoughts will disappear and pass as quickly as new trends do. You only have one body, so cherish it, find ways to appreciate it, Find ways how to be grateful for everything that your body allows you to do. Most importantly, don't feel like you should change anything about yourself for your wedding. It's your and your partner's wedding, and the partner loves you for you, and you don't have to let any expectations or any pressure from social media, from society, or from whoever or whatever to get the best of you. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I would like to know what your experience is with the pressure to look a certain way for your wedding. You can let me know on Instagram at bingeonselflove, or you can send me an email at anci@bingeonselflove.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe to the Binge on Self-Love on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. Thank you so much and talk to you soon. Bye!